fellow Americans, are we reaping our harvest of greed? Have we built our house on sinking sand? Why are we being ugly Americans?
June 18, and boy, are things happening. So here we go, and we're going to expect to have some folks joining us today with some announcements and some activities. There's a lot of things starting to happen in June all over the state. So anyway, I really wanted to bring you up to speed with what we know or can read into what is going on. And the fact of the matter is, when we understand, now that we understand that the mainstream media is the propaganda machine to help condition the country, the world, but in this particular case, we're talking about our mainstream media in our country. They can help condition us for events that are being planned. So as we start to look at a new article, just for example, coming out of nowhere, then you start thinking, wait a minute, is something being planned? So I'm going to share some of that with you. But first, we've really got to look at some of the truths about what NSA is doing and some things that are happening in court. And we must protect ourselves. We have to protect ourselves from tyranny as much as we can. We have to protect our assets. We have to protect our freedom. And I've got some ideas about that I want to share with you today. So let's get started. Here's the 21 facts that everybody should know about the NSA snooping. The fact is, this is what is happening, and we need to make sure that we understand that that's what is happening. According to CNET, the NSA told Congress during a recent classified briefing that it does not need court authorization to listen to your domestic phone call. According to U.S. Representative Loretta Sanchez, members of Congress learned significantly more than what is out in the media today about NSA snooping during that classified briefing. 3, the content of all of our phone calls is being recorded and stored. You can read the transcript. The chief technology officer at the CIA, Gus Hunt, made the following statement back in March. We fundamentally try to collect everything and hang on to it forever. During a Senate Judiciary Oversight Committee hearing in March 2011, that's over 2 years ago, FBI Director Robert Mueller admitted the intelligence community has the ability to access emails as they come in. In 2007, the Director of National Intelligence, Michael McConnell, told Congress the president has the constitutional authority to authorize domestic spying without warrants, no matter what the law says. 7. The Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, recently told Congress the NSA was not collecting any information on American citizens. When confronted with the lie, he said he responded in what he thought was the most truthful or the least untruthful manner. But it was a lie. The Washington Post is reporting that the NSA has 4 primary data collection systems, and they talk about what these systems are. The NSA pretty much knows everything that you're doing on the internet. The NSA is supposed to be prohibited from spying on the internet activity, but it's doing it anyway. And this is good advice. You have to assume everything is being collected. It has been estimated, get this estimate, this is number 11, that the NSA gathers 2.1 million gigabytes of data on all of us every single hour of every day. How do you like that? In addition to collecting data on their own, a recent Bloomberg article claims that thousands of firms are giving your personal information directly to the NSA. Companies that share their data with the NSA are exempt from prosecution due to the law that Congress passed back in 2008. Ain't it great? The NSA is constructing the largest data center in the world out in Utah. Talks about the budget, $10 billion a year. Overall, the U.S. government spends $80 billion a year on intelligence, and that's basically surveillance of the people, us. This is what governments do. They become tyrannical. That is natural and logical. We, the people, have to push them back into that box. We have to shift the way we treat money so that we can get representatives that will and agree with us to push back against tyranny and to put this tyranny back in the box. Put a lid on it. According to an NSA whistleblower, they have a target list of somewhere between 500,000 to 1 million people. They also claim ENSA has the capacity to do individualized searches, similar to Google, for particular electronic communications in real time through such criteria like target addresses, locations, countries, phone numbers, watch list names, keywords, and phrases. Come on, that's not that big of a thing to do. Look at Google. According to a recent Rasmussen survey, 57% of all Americans believe that the government will use the information that it collects to harass political opponents. And I would add that there is a growing number of people that are going to start believing that they will use this to make up charges, political prisoner kind of charges. I guess that's a political opponent. We're against tyranny, so I guess we're opposing. Benjamin Franklin, of course, wrote, "They who can give up essential liberty to obtain a little temporary safety deserve neither." And the fact is, yes, I guess it is up to us because we vote, but the system has been corrupt and we have to wake up enough people to change that system. Even though you and I maybe didn't even vote. A lot of people don't even vote. They've given up voting years ago because there were no choices. Now we know why there's no choices. And of course, this is the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, and I'm going to read it. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. So, we're right in the middle of those are gone and this is tyrannical. Please share these facts with your family, friends, and neighbors. Let's try to wake up our communities. And I wanted to just share with you another psyops. It turns out that the flu vaccine is a psyop. It's a lie. The fact is, I've highlighted some information down here in this blog. This is John Rappaport. And he says, in December 2005, the British Medical Journal published another shocking report by Peter Doshi, which spelled out the delusion and created tremors throughout the halls of the CDC. Here's a quote from the report. According to the CDC stats, influenza and pneumonia took 62,034 lives in 2001, 61,777 of which were attributable to pneumonia, and 257 to flu, and only 18 cases was the flu virus positively identified. And this is what his whole article is about. The flu and the vaccine will never work because mostly it's not the flu. It's just a psyop. They're just spreading the media word. They're just getting people used to getting shots. We need to really start to pay attention to everything we assumed was true because it's turning out that pretty much all of it was mind control and some kind of way to get us to be thinking of a certain thing rather than watching what's really important. I want to share with you now, this I told you, a peek into the future. These are guys that are honest and trustworthy, and they're experts in their field, and they're parroting what I've been saying. And I also want you, while you're listening to this, I want you to think about this fact. I just looked up what the spot price is for gold coins and what gold and silver spot is right now. Spot for gold has dropped $19. So consider all of this market turmoil, and gold is going down. It's now $13.67 last I looked, and silver is being battered down. It's below 22 now. It's been above 22 for several weeks, and gold has been hanging above 1385. And yet, remember, I told you last week or a couple weeks ago, the people that set the market price for gold, are battering that price down. I can only speculate, but it makes perfect sense to me that they are trying to keep a lid on panic. So when gold and silver are going down, people are going, because they're assuming, people make the false assumption that gold and silver prices have something to do with market activity. And that's the big mistake. Gold and silver prices are being set. It's being set by the cartel. The way interest prices are, the way LIBOR is set, the way all of this stuff is completely fraudulent. You'll be reading articles, in fact, and I haven't even listed one today, but it just occurs to me, there's all this seemingly frantic effort to buy gold over in China. People are lining up for hours. That's what an article said. I have no way of knowing if that's true or not, but if there's really this kind of demand, then why are the prices dropping? You ask yourself that. I want you to listen to this.
He knows more than 90% of them. Here we go. This is a chart going back from the year 2000 until now. Why is this significant? Well, you tell me. Look at it. Let's start here. This is the dot-com bubble. Okay, we know what happened here. The dot-com bubble burst. The market plummeted. Now, right here is when the Federal Reserve decided they were going to make credit available. They were going to make home loans easily accessible. And they inflated the stock market, and the housing bubble was created through credit. Right here was the peak. And we understand what happened there. And we got this huge correction in the market. Now, before I move forward further, notice this peak here, and then notice this peak here. This peak here, the housing bubble, credit bubble, was slightly higher than this, and the correction was slightly deeper as well. Here's where we are now, everyone. Okay? The Federal Reserve right here loosened up credit, made it available to everyone, interest rates zero, and started pumping liquidity into the market, inflating this bubble. Okay, this is where we are now. Look at this parabolic move from here. I want you to notice, again, this peak lower, a little higher with this peak, a little higher with this peak. I feel now that we could see a correction here, some type of an event which will send this market spiraling down lower than here. That's pretty significant, don't you think? Now, for a technical analyst, you might say, hey, this is a triple top. Well, it may very well be a triple top. And that, to me, everyone, looks like a reversal pattern. And I would love to hear from some of you out there that are traders and investors. I know there are a lot of you out there.
There you have it. The numbers, the charts, they're telling us something. And I've already been talking to you about this. If you've been watching my live streams, you understand that I do believe we already know for a fact. It's a fact. Never forget this. The globalists want a world currency. So always remember the end game. Factor in their end game when you start to look at these things that are happening. Do your own research. I've been doing my research. I'm just sharing with you the things I'm finding. That was significant to me. He's an honest guy. Here's another honest guy. Let's listen to a couple of things that he's saying. By the way, the last video was just June 14, and this video was June 13. So we were just talking about last Thursday and Friday. This is Tuesday.
And as far as fighting terrorists, we're all talking about doing this because of Al-Qaeda. And I'm going to bring up my reoccurring theme, and that is Al-Qaeda. What, you mean the good Al-Qaeda that we are arming in Syria, or the bad Al-Qaeda where we're killing them with drone strikes in Yemen? Which Al-Qaeda are we talking about? And now it's reported that the Obama administration now concedes that the Assad regime has used chemical weapons on its own people, and we're going to arm the Syrian rebels, which is Al-Qaeda in part, a large part. Even John McCain, who took a quick trip to Syria, had his picture taken with known Al-Qaeda terrorists. That's okay? That's who we're fighting? That's who we're collecting data for? Oh, no, we're collecting data on all Americans. Boy, this is painting a picture of control, not fighting terrorism, isn't it? And if you want more evidence of the government exercising and trying to gain control, look no further than the IRS. I mean, here we have the Obama administration using the IRS on hundreds of groups organizing against him and his policies and the Democrats. And we're having the IRS target people along with the Israeli, pro-Jewish groups and pro other religious groups. The IRS is targeting them, organizing. Oh, is that fighting terrorism too? Oh, no, that's more control. That's more control. And then there are stories that are now confirmed in the mainstream media, now confirmed, widely confirmed, about the Division of Homeland Security buying millions and millions of rounds of ammunition and ordering billions of rounds into the future, more than almost 2 billion rounds of ammunition. As far as the eye can see, even Congress has taken up a bill. This is how far this has gone, where they're telling DHS to stop buying any more ammunition. Why are they doing that? Well, according to one U.S. Senator from Oklahoma, Senator Inhofe, he says, well, they're doing that to dry up the supplies of ammunition. He said that on ABC radio a few weeks ago. Why would they want to dry up the supplies of ammunition if they didn't want to gain control? And then just this week, Congressman Jeff Duncan from South Carolina says that, just a few weeks ago I was touring a DHS facility and he saw IRS agents training with AR-15s. That's right. Congressman Duncan put on his congressional website that he witnessed IRS agents training with AR-15s. He's going to look into it further. He doesn't have any more information than that. So is that how the IRS is now going to collect taxes at the end of a gun barrel? Are they going to come to your house with an AR-15 and say, hey, you need to pay up? Or is that more control and some pretty physical, violent control methods being practiced, trained for, and put into place?
Yeah. The picture that leaps to mind is the Boston lockdown. That was absolutely a training for military lockdown and control. They locked down Boston. How hard is it going to be to lock down your little city? This is a peek into the future, guys. This is the plan. This is the Agenda 21. They want to control everything and everybody. I believe, people are speculating, but it makes perfect sense that when the stock market crashes and all the people lose tons of money again and the economy goes into a slump and more people lose their jobs, so more people lose their homes, and they close the banks, they're getting prepared for, armed revolt. And if you, it doesn't matter if you have a gun, if you can't get ammunition, too bad, they win. This is a peek into the future. This is a scary little peek. It's not over yet, and we need to keep fighting and not be fearful. But we need to also be alert and aware of what to expect. Then at least we'll have some mind preparation. We won't be in such a state of shock saying, oh my goodness, this could never happen. How could this happen? Come on, it's going to happen. And the people around us need to understand at whatever level you can bring him into the understanding, bring him in at the baby step level. Any understanding will be helpful. Trust me. Now, here's some court action, and I know this is not about foreclosure court action. There's action, and we've talked about that and about how we can really start to use that as owners to fight back against the fraud and corruption. But this, remember what I said yesterday? If you didn't watch yesterday, we talked about one of the biggest elephants in the room that is not being mentioned, and that is the fraudulent forged birth certificate of Obama. Obama is a usurper. He is a plant. He is a puppet. He is playing the game and following the shots and reading the teleprompters the way he's been instructed to do so. And the fact is, an attorney has been fighting in court about this stolen Social Security number, trying to find some way to get a grip on this very slick issue, because nobody will touch it. Mainstream media won't touch it, even though Sheriff Arpaio and his investigator have thousands of pages of documents and proof of the forgery, which they shared with the Sheriff's Constitutional Conference last weekend at the end of May. It's incredible that this is having such a tough time, and it just shows you that the fraud and the cover-up is extensive. All right, here's the attorney. This is the website where she's actually, they got a win. This was on June 13, this month. The chief judge of the USDC for the District of Columbia gives leave of court, allows her to file 74 pages of motions and documents that provide undeniable evidence of Obama's use of a stolen Social Security number, and seeking release of the original application for that number. And so I just wanted to read a little bit about it. You can look at the article. This is major news. You're never going to hear this on mainstream media. This is way too hot to touch. This is the humongous elephant in the room, because if people really understood that he's a usurper, that 9/11 was a false flag, it's all intended to take over this country, we would have an awakening. That's why there's such a big lid on it. And so they gave leave of court for her to file these documents, and it's significant because the motions attached show that Barack Obama is using a stolen Social Security number of Harrison J. Bonal, born 1890, immigrant from Russia, who is presumed to be deceased. At the time the case was originally filed and heard, the plaintiffs did not have new information that became available recently. I'll let you finish it. Because this is another glimpse in the future. Remember, I've been telling you, when these puppets lose their punch, then what's going to come next? So out of nowhere comes an article that the Obama assassination bid fears. So there's understood that a contingency is in place for the unlikely event that an attempt would be made on the president's life. Really? So does this mean that, in their opinion, he's getting too hot to handle? And you and I already would leap to the assumption that if they need to move on, it's over. It's over. And if that happens, so just mull it over. If the globalists decide that Obama's, no longer useful because of these court proceedings, because they can't keep a lid on his forged birth certificate, his stolen Social Security number, the Benghazi, trading weapons for hostages and all the skullduggery that they're doing. If maybe it's just easiest to get rid of him and Who would be next? Biden. So let's start thinking, let's try to get a couple of steps ahead of what we're seeing. Put on your thinking caps. Come on, let's play chess. We're playing chess with globalists, so let's think about it. I wanted to put that into the record so that you can mull this over and let me know what you think. Soon, I hope by the weekend we will have a blog set up so that we can let the whole nation, it's a national discussion. We all need to be discussing all of these topics, or at least those that are of specific interest. And we need a place to go where everybody can go. I can't tell you how many times I get questions asking me what I've already covered in a show, but they haven't been watching. So, as we pull in hundreds and millions of more people into the discussion, they need some place to go read the history and catch up on any particular topic. That's what I'm building. Now, what we've got today is some announcements, and I wanted to cover those first. We're hoping to have Carlos from Occupy and Kimmy from Santa Barbara, and there's some action in Petaluma. So these are the things, the events that I'm aware of right now that are happening. So I want to bring them to your attention, and that way you can be getting them on your calendar. They're all for Saturday, and I apologize, I don't have specifically the parade and pink party down in Santa Barbara. I know it's in the morning, like around 10 o'clock down in Santa Barbara. And on June 22nd in Los Angeles, they're doing a Move Your Money effort against Wells Fargo again. And Carlos sent out an email that had several different links, and so I've gotten those links up for us to look at while we hear from him about this effort as soon as he calls in. I'm waiting for him to call in. And then on June 22nd, Saturday, from noon to 1:30, there's another Move Your Money effort over in Petaluma. This is in Sonoma County. So any efforts, we need a better platform, in my opinion, and that's why I'm working on the national blog site so that we can hit all of these campaigns, all of these announcements. I'm thinking of doing the campaigns by location, because that way in your location, wherever you are, anywhere in the nation, you can see, is there a march against Monsanto? Is there a Move Your Money? Is there a foreclosure effort? What is happening? Is there a public banking meeting? What is going on, so that you can participate, because that's what we all need to do, is to start sharing the attention. We need to give the attention as much as we can to every effort in our local areas, because that is what's really going to make a difference. Now, while we're waiting for them to call in, then I'm going to share some of these websites that Carlos has already shared. One is the Anatomy of a Foreclosure. This was just done June 5th, and the facts are always different, but the effect is always the same. And the effect is the banks are still in the house with forged foreclosure documents, and the banks just do that and get away with it so far. And the people are left on their own to try to fight back and try to surround themselves with anybody they can to help them. They pretty much have no weapons and when I say weapons, I don't mean guns. I'm meaning, techniques that they can use to stop this. The OCC complaint, the qualified written request letter, the foreclosure defenses that I talk about and have little short videos on seem to be about as effective as anything. I would love, if you are an attorney, if you know an attorney anywhere in the nation that is successful, I want to connect with attorneys and build an Attorneys for Justice network where the attorneys that are successful will mentor other attorneys, because the bottom line is one attorney can only handle so many clients. And we need thousands of attorneys that are experienced, that can handle the millions of people that need this help. So I'm making another plea right now for Attorneys for Justice. If you know of anyone, if you are an attorney, contact me. I'm working while I'm doing all these other things to build that network and that availability of your information for people to contact. There's so many people that ask me all the time from all over the country. Do you know an attorney? Do you have an attorney referral? I need an attorney. And I don't. This has been a real part of the frustration and the agony of pushing against this fraud and corruption without better tools. So we're looking for that. Here's another website that Carlos shared. This is how Occupy tries to help a Columbine survivor keep his home. I'm telling you, they will take everybody's home. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're 96 years old or if you're a family going to give birth next week. They don't care. They are out for the assets, and that is the answer. That is the answer. And that is the problem that we all face. They are coming after you. They're coming after your home. If you own it free and clear, make sure, in fact, I would recommend that even if you own it free and clear, that you check the recorder's office every now and then. Just make it a monthly habit. Drop in at your friendly recorder's office and just check your property and see if anything got recorded on it. Because they can file these notices of default, they can break the law and not let you know, they can steal the house and sell it at auction while you don't even know that's happening. So we have to be proactive. We have to start protecting ourselves and our assets in ways that we never anticipated that we'd have to do that. So stick it on the calendar, once a month go in, just check to see what's recorded. Ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So here you've got Occupy trying to keep the house. He happens to be now in LA. They break the economy. There's all kinds of reasons. People that qualify for HAMP loans are denied so that they can, the modification, the servicers, working in the bankster's servicer company can get a bonus. So they'll lie, cheat, and steal because they're told to do that. Hey, lie to these people and I'll give you a bonus. And so that comes out, big news on the mainstream media. Yeah, right. I'm sure you've not heard one peep about that. There might be an article in a paper, but it's like a 30-second news cycle. Boop, gone. So the rest of us are just left what? Suffering? There's no justice? And that is the answer. There's no justice until we insist on justice and until we get a groundswell of demand for justice. Here's another website. This is about, I've talked about this twice. First when it happened, and then when his attorney talked about it, they're suing, of course, the family's attorney. But this is the Wells Fargo typo victim who dies in court. And you remember that Wells Fargo typoed, made a mistake on the assessor's parcel number, the APN, and claimed that this gentleman, who was never late, had paid everything on time. They claimed that he had not paid his taxes, and so they increased his tax bill beyond what he could pay. And so then he tried to fight back. They would never fix it. They would never fix a typo. And so they were going into court with lawsuit and litigation. They demanded he show up. He died in court. And this is a short little video about that. So anyway, when Carlos joins us, then we'll have him do the update on the show. But right now we've got Kimmy on the line. Hey Kimmy, I think you just joined us. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hey CJ, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I'm turning up the phone now for everybody. So give us an update on the parade and pink party action.
Awesome. Yes, it's going great. I'm building a tree float, and because we are birds of a feather getting together, the tree is our centerpiece, and the theme is pink. It's the pink party, and it's going to be here in Santa Barbara, California, on this Saturday, June 22nd. The parade starts at high noon, but if you're going to come and be in the parade, which would be amazing, it's an opportunity to practice our solidarity in color and have a great time together, and basically put all this crazy stuff that we learn every day behind us a bit, and just kind of come out on the party level and just be a community and have fun. Marley, and another song in the summertime. My girlfriend put together some Zumba choreography, really simple. You can learn it on the fly.
Oh, that's great.
And we're just going. I have a bunch of pink beach balls and a great group of people in Santa Barbara here. It'll be a great time. Make sure you bring water and some kind of shade of some sort. And then if you sign up, it could start as early as 9 a.m. And that's
Okay.
between State Street, which is the main street that we're going to be heading up, and at Coda Street. All this information's on my website. If you want to go check it out, there's pictures of the tree in process. There's the choreography, Zumba videos, and all the other crazy stuff that goes along with if you want to RSVP. So 9 a.m. is when registration will start at Coda and State Street here in Santa Barbara. And then we are going to gather off on the side streets. I've never done a parade. I watched CJ on TV, on live streaming this day in Petaluma, and you hang out for a while in the background. So come and hang out.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So around 9 o'clock at State and Coda Streets.
Yes.
Okay, and of course, you should be obvious, right? You'll probably be in pink.
Go check out, it's KimiVanDyke.com, KimiVanDyk.com, and that is where all the information is, and a link to register and what timing things are and all the miscellaneous details. But I've got some great ideas for this group. I mean, we could be pink superheroes. We could be, make a little pink birdhouse and put it on top of your hat, or put a big one on a pole. Blow bubbles, bubble gum bubbles, or blow bubbles, just like the bubble bursts. Paint food pink. There's the Monsanto side of this, and we've got a lot of issues. So
Yes,
I don't know,
yes.
in kind of a subtle way, maybe we could kind of get that messaging out and feel good that we're doing something together.
That sounds really great. I'm really pleased that you're taking this effort, Kimmy. This is really one of the challenges of our time, is that our life has shifted, and the truth has shifted, seemingly out of reach for a lot of people, and it's really started to put the pressure on those that have this shift under their feet to do something. And so
It just switches your life. Once you wake up, I mean, you just realize that this is it. This is it. Like, go now or no home. Go big or no home. And this is very apparent to me. And I've been following the same level of things you've been following.
yeah.
I'm 100%, 110% there, and I just want to invite everybody else along to get there too, so we can work together.
Yes, and truly, we'd love to keep updated of how it goes, and hopefully you'll have. Are you going to be able to live stream? Do you think? Have you tried that yet?
I'm trying to call in some people to join the Pink Media team, so we can do some twit picking, Instagram, Facebook posts, whatever. People can practice their live streaming skills. We're going to be on the parade route for at least 2.5, 3 hours, plus whatever's behind the scenes there. So we'll have lots of time to practice. So bring your cell phone, bring extra batteries, whatever it is that you have, and we'll experiment. This is an experiment and a practice.
Yeah.
This is a drill.
Yes, this is a drill. Hey, now here's a question. You have a smartphone, right?
Yes.
And what kind of smartphone is it? Well, it doesn't really matter. If you have a smartphone, whether it's an iPhone or an Android base, for sure those two, you can download, you can set up.
Smartphone, and then from there, I set up Ustream, but I'm gonna before then try to set up a live stream too, and I haven't
Yeah.
had a chance to practice. It takes a little effort, as you know.
Well, I found live stream to be really simple and pretty effective, especially with the phone. Well, even with the on the computer, because you just have a webcam and you decide if you're going to look at the screen, or if you're going to look at, have me there, or if you're going to see me. I mean, I just click these little buttons on the little control panel, and it shifts it. So if I just said, like right now, you're just going to see me, then I shift to the camera action, or I can shift to the screen totally, or some kind of a mix. I mean, it's real straightforward and simple. And you can set up a live stream account for free. So set up a free
maybe what
account.
we could do, CJ, I don't know if you can make it, I sure hope so, but maybe you could come and give us a little course and we could all work together on that.
Well, I'm not sure if I can make it either. I mean, this is truly a lot of travel, and this is why everyone needs to work locally and support each other locally so that we don't have so much travel time. But
So everybody spread the word out.
Yep.
Come to Santa Barbara, and hey, if you can't make it in the parade, or you just don't feel like being in the parade, or just the endurance of that, it's it's going to be pretty warm, and it takes a while. We're not dancing anything crazy like some of the Brazilian dancers and whatnot. That is a marathon for sure. Those women are amazing. But if you want to go and meet us and kind of be in our surprise flash mob, go ahead and get up to there's the Arlington Theater, and then there's a restaurant called Opal Restaurant and Bar, and just be up there. That's on the 1300 block of State Street, not really close to where the park is, where you turn the corner and go to the park for the big festival.
now say that again one more time. What's the name of the restaurant and where is it?
Join us at the Arlington, which is the big old theater on Upper State Street, and there's another place right next to it called Opal Restaurant and Bar. That's about 4 or 5 businesses wide. And
Okay.
so we could meet up there. I've been telling other people to meet up there. Hide your pink until we come up, or wear it proudly the whole day. Pink stands for peace, and we need some color solidarity. I know Iceland used orange, and it's safety in numbers, birds of a feather. Let's
Yeah.
get together and do this.
Yeah, that sounds really great, guys. If you're at all close to Santa Barbara, try to get that on your calendar. Try to get over there. Find something pink. I love this one pink picture. I've been showing the pictures while you're talking.
Me too. I love that.
This is great. Where do you get all those? I need to have a pink wig. We all need pink wigs.
I'm serious. I went to a court thing this morning, and I wore my pink shirt. And I think if we seriously start using this in a lot of every way, the people who are lying and who know they are and who are against us, we the people, it's time to make them nervous when they see the color pink. And pink's everywhere. I mean, breast cancer, code pink, just the color pink, little girls in pink. I mean,
Right.
it's everywhere. So
Right.
I think it would be fun to mix it all together, and yeah, there you go.
Exactly. It's an acceptable color. It's now accepted. Welcome to breast cancer. And turns out that contamination.
The bully type people are really
Exactly.
afraid of the color pink. They're not going to be the ones that are coming out on the parade route partying with us. They're just
Exactly.
not.
Exactly.
It'll be kind of a separation of a certain different kind.
I want to make a special point of reminding you again. I think I've already said this once, and that is, as a broker, and I show thousands of people homes and that kind of thing. It's almost impossible. I think once, if I remember correctly, was I able to get a male to walk into a pink house.
Absolutely.
They would take my word for it. They didn't want to go in.
So that's the plan, everybody, and hopefully Carlos is coming around the bend because he's doing some great stuff. We were
Yeah.
trying to consolidate on some stuff, but we're going to have to probably do something else another time.
Well, yes, I agree. And the fact is, I've got the announcement out. People are hopefully marking their calendars. The parade could start as early as 9 o'clock. Say it one more time, where to meet, because I didn't get that on the overhead.
No problem. And 9 a.m. would be registration. The actual parade
Okay.
doesn't get moving until noon, and that's the beginning of the parade. We're probably
Okay.
going to be back end with the finale. So there's going to be a lot of waiting time. So go there, register so you're not standing in a line, and then go play around State Street downtown, and then come back and find us on the staging route, which will be on Coda Street. And then if you can't make it in the parade, go ahead and meet up in the 1300 block, which is where the Arlington Theater is. It's one of our big, beautiful, tall buildings in Santa Barbara. So
Great. Thanks, Kimmy. Thanks for sharing. And of course, her website
Everybody.
it's going to be on the comment section, so you can go look that up after the show. Make sure that you can find her if you're welcome to get there. All right. Thanks, Kimmy.
okay.
Bye. So I wanted to talk about protecting your assets and yourself, because it turns out we've had an upset last night. It happened late last week, and I have been saying now pretty much since the beginning, if people have been listening. A lot of people don't, or they think that what they learn from other people or other websites is going to be okay, and then they start jeopardizing themselves. And this is the scary part. We've got to protect our assets, and we need to protect our freedom. So one of the things I wanted to share was some of the things that we can do to protect our assets and freedom. So, and I unfortunately missed that one when I did the overhead, so I'm just going to bring this into the screen so that you can see it. Number one, move the money. Get it out of the banksters' banks. Swear to you, get it out and get it out now, and remove all of your accounts. For one thing, they could track you. For another thing, they're going to take the money. So if you have savings, if you have checking accounts, I don't care what it is, and even if you have to go through the effort of making your payments from a different entity like a credit union, because we personally do an awful lot of online banking, and that is a major issue, but we've gone to that effort ourselves, and we are pleased with that. Have some cash in hand, and I'm talking about not a few $100s, but try to have a few $1,000s in hand. Whatever you think it might take to actually meet your needs for you and your family for, let's say, 3 months, if possible. When they close the banks, this is the lesson we learned in Cyprus, so pay attention and spread this around. When they closed the banks in Cyprus, all business ceased, had to be cash. Nobody would take credit. You go to the pizza place to eat, had to be cash. People that didn't have cash, guess what they did? They stood in line 8 hours at a machine to get their $300 a day limit. So don't do that. Be prepared. Just be prepared. This is being a good Boy Scout, good Girl Scout stuff. Get some hard assets that's going to hold value. And so we've been talking about legal tender gold and silver coins. I could be wrong, who knows, but I do believe that that's probably the most likely exchangeable. I don't think they will take it because it is a 1985 legal tender. It is allowed, you are allowed to have that. I don't think they will take that. They may come by and say you can't have gold bullion, but how can they steal the actual money? I mean, they can do anything they want, but we believe the thought is that would be probably less likely to happen. So definitely they're pushing down the prices. I'm constantly amazed that the fact that the gold is dropping, the price is dropping even when there's demand, just indicates that everything we've been looking at it has a ring of truth to it. And again, the numbers that we're speculating in the article I showed a couple weeks ago, they were wanting to beat down the price of gold to around $800 to $1,000 an ounce, and the price of silver down to $16 to $18 an ounce. You just have to decide for yourself if you know, paying a little overage for it now, because they're now down at what I said, 1367 and 21, whether that's worth it to you to make sure that you've got some, or because who knows exactly how much control they're in. That's my thought. That's your thought. And then I would definitely encourage you, if possible, to get out of debt. One of the major reasons that it seems to me to make sense is that if you are in debt, this would even include mortgage debt. If you owe somebody something and then something happens and you cannot pay, then you will lose that asset. If you really want to keep the asset, then own it free and clear. It's much less likely it's down the road that they would come and steal your actual asset that you own free and clear. It's very likely that if you stop making your payments on your car, your house, your TV, whatever it is you're making payments on, and you stop that, they will come and take it back. So this is one of those trying to protect yourself and your assets. Just some good advice coming from me to you. And then, of course, on yourself, the one thing to think about is the pretty well-known fact, evidently, that our just-in-time inventory system of food and supplies in this country is about 3 days. And so if they didn't have shipments coming in every 3 days, some stores, of course, have it every day, different items every day, the shelves would be empty. And there's nothing to set off a panic like empty shelves. And I would highly recommend that storable stuff, canned goods, paper goods, things that you could survive on, you know, welcome to beans and noodles, stuff like that, that you protect yourself, that you have some of that in backup plan. This is called a backup plan. And of course, you take the Mormons, they have been doing this backup plan. That is part of their religion. They have whole rooms filled with this backup storage stuff. They expect to not have, you know, the convenience of shopping for I don't know how long, 6 months, a year, whatever they're doing. So it's really good advice, and I encourage all of us, you and myself included, to do this. And then please, 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 I don't care who tells you, I don't care what it is, don't record any document on your property. If you need to record something like a quitclaim deed or something like that, go through escrow. Make sure it's done through escrow so you know it's legal and valid. Do not take any document written by somebody else or yourself and go record it on your property, because you've opened up yourself for accusations of fraud and perjury and felony. It's a felony. This is the penal code violation, anybody filing a false or forged document. So don't do this. People that have are getting in trouble. We tend to refer to them as we're easy pickings. You are easy pickings. I am easy pickings. The banks can do this on millions of properties and get away with it. They are not easy pickings. They have control. You and I, we do anything even remotely like that, we will get put in prison. You will get charges. You will be put in prison. It will be a humongous fight. And right now, what you need to do, you need to keep yourself free so that you can help yourself and others. Don't start screwing around with these kinds of save your property by recording this document on it. And if you already have, then write a rescission document. Rescind it, and rescind it today. Get it off the record the best you can. They still may charge you, but you would be able to then say to the judge, everything you do, imagine in your little head, I'm going to be standing in front of the judge who's scowling at me and trying to defend what I did. And if you can say, Judge, Your Honor, I had a lapse, I had a brain fart, and I caught myself and I took it off. You're much more likely to have either a far less punishment or no punishment or be allowed to go than if you keep fighting and saying, no, I did it right and you just don't understand, because the bottom line is you've broken the law when you do that. Don't do it, and don't record it on anybody else's property. It's bad enough when you record it on your own property and you still have title to the property, but if you've recorded it on somebody else's property, someone else now has title to that property, it's a world of hurt. It's just really a world of pain. And so also, don't break the law. Don't drive drunk. Don't do stupid stuff. Okay? Now is the time to really step up and grow up and be an adult and make sure that what you are doing in your behavior is lawful. Don't go off on a vacation and let your kids have some boozy party when you're not there. Just please protect yourself. Please get your family, friends, and neighbors to protect themselves. This is not the time to be putting yourself in any kind of jeopardy. This is really, truly a time when the people, and I view us as a group that are fighting for our rights and fighting for truth and honesty and against forgery and fraud. We just have to make absolutely sure that our houses are clean. So look at what you're doing. Don't steal money. Don't cheat someone. Every week almost every day in our newspaper, there's somebody else embezzling monies. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And please try to get that perspective. I'm begging you, because now it's way too important that we have every one of us as an effort in our effort to fight back. We need everybody, and we don't need all the family and friends of some person now so distracted because that person's got a problem that they can't even think about the fight anymore, that they've opened themselves up to problems. And I wanted to also mention this because it's come to my attention that, and this is from the LA Times, and this was written just recently. This is the police are teaching tactics for handling sovereign citizens. This is a term now that has become starting to be used in conjunction with domestic terrorism. So don't have anything to do with this. Don't be involved with it. Don't use the terms. It has nothing to do really with fighting the bank's fraudulent forgeries. This is a whole other effort of pointing out the corruption and the issues that we have to deal with for our laws in this country, and they could well be right. I'm not telling you whether they're right or wrong. I'm just telling you right now it's very, very dangerous. So let me remind you again, because someone just emailed me again today. How do I know if this person, somebody selling an audit, somebody offering these documents to record, somebody saying, hey, if you just do this, you'll have your house free and clear. How do you know? How can you tell if they are accurate or not, if they are true or not? And I've told you, remember I said, there's two things you can do specifically, well, three, but number one, get on Google. We still have access to the internet, and type in whatever it is and complaint. Type in the name complaints. Press return. See what shows up, because you'll more than likely find someone else that's already been there, done that, complained about it. And then at least you'll know, well, there's been some complaints. The second thing you can do about that is to demand, if you're interacting with these people and they're saying all this gobbledygook, just say to them, something, this sounds really great, but I have to verify. It's trust but verify. So I have to verify. So can you give me a property address? I need the property address of someone that's been successful with this technique. Because the key with the address, if you ask for a person, they can get another liar. That's easy. If you ask for a property address, then you can actually look at the property on the tax data. You can go into the recorder's office and you can look that property up and see what's been recorded on that property. So if they claim, oh this, oh that, oh now he owns it free and clear and that debt's been rescinded, okay, give me the address. Because if that's true, you will find a debt rescission document on record. That's why the records are so important. And that's why if you file a false document in the recorder's office, they're going to screw you. They're going to charge you. They're going to put you in prison. And this is going to be really, really, really awful and nasty. So don't do it. Don't do it. Ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. And I'm speaking from, an experience that is not pleasant and not fun and very, very troubling and worrisome. So the fact of the matter is our whole focus needs to be on using lawful means to fight back. You and I have to be very circumspect right now, because especially anybody fighting foreclosures, anybody exposing their tricks, anybody saying, wait a minute, look at all this lying, cheating that they're doing. They're going to come after you any way they can. And the easiest way is if you slip up and make a mistake. So right now, please, please don't make mistakes. Please. I can have less sleepless nights if you take better care of yourselves. I'm begging you. So the whole point, we need to bugger the bankers, the politicians, and the bureaucrats, but we need to make sure that we've protected ourselves in the process. Thanks, guys, for watching. And I'm spending every minute I possibly can in getting up my national discussion blog, because each one of these items needs to have its own set of blogs and comments and focus on it. And so, of course, that crashed, so we'll just start again. It's just a computer. I don't know how long it'll take to do the blog. Let's see. The people waking. I'm sorry, it's a computer. Welcome to the NSA. They don't like me playing this. See you guys.
When I was a lass, I was proud of me class, like my father and mother before me. They taught me to fight for my civil rights, but it's always the same old story. The rich reign supreme while the poor can but dream, under Labour or Liberal or Tory. And I say, bugger the bankers and politicians, bugger the bureaucrats too, bugger the buggers who make up the rules, and if you're one of them, bugger you, and if you're one of them, bugger you.
The system is bent and the money's all spent. We're murdered from every direction.
The workers get taxed while the wealthy relax, with nary a moment's reflection. When it's brass, there's muck, and they don't give an arse, 'cause they're programmed against insurrection. And I say, bugger the bankers and politicians, bugger the bureaucrats too, bugger the buggers who make up the rules, and if you're one of them, bugger you, and if you're one of them, bugger you. Now all you good people with passion to vent, don't give up the struggle for justice. But I've done my time on the protesters' line, and these days I show my dissent.